You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
Councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
We are live. We are streaming another episode of Anonymous Bites Back. This is, I don't even know what episode. This is February 10th. God, another day.
Episode 17,500.
Yeah, normalizing the apocalypse, right? I don't even know. Every week I look in the news, it's just like a what the fuck moment, you know. Where do we even start? Let's start. Glory. Didn't you have like a guest to bring on?
No, she's got X stuff.
What? Nah. I mean, I don't have any guests to bring on.
Oh, I was confused. I thought you did.
It's X stuff.
Yeah, X.
Oh.
Oh, she's been married before?
Yes.
Shut up.
Yeah, Glory's 21 years old, but she's on her 7th husband.
Oh my God.
They move quick in Jamaica.
We do.
So what are the updates with Commander X exactly?
I mean, since his last hearing on January 18th, I can't really, there's no really major updates legal-wise. Basically, the state of the case so far is that the Santa Cruz indictment is being dropped because they couldn't prove over $5,000 in damages. So that one is going to be either a misdemeanor or dismissed completely. The Orlando indictment, I believe Jay Rorty said he's working out like the specific monetary value of the damages that X is going to plea to, and then that transfer can begin completely. That's what Jay Rorty said on the hearing on the 18th, and then obviously the failure to appear charges are still there. So that's what we're looking at case-wise, and then his next hearing, when they're going to make that final plea agreement and begin sentencing, is Tuesday, March 29th. It's going to be Tuesday morning, so 9 a.m. the same time and day of the week that all of the hearings have been. If you're anywhere near Santa Cruz or San Jose or Northern California or Central California, the San Jose District Courthouse, me, Steve, Keith McHenry, other people, we're going to be there just because X and supporters are hoping to kind of get a lot of people in and out of the courts to show support for Commander X as he moves into the sentencing, because after they make the plea deal, what's going to become important is that we can ensure a fair sentence and a merciful sentence for Commander X. And luckily, it's sort of in his favor just because of the fact that the DDoS charges are almost a decade old, and also the fact that he's old and, well, not that old. He's pushing 60, but I mean, like, he's aged. You know, being on the run for a while, it tends to add up. So, you know, he's aged, he's weak. I mean, I saw him in the courtroom October 12th for that hearing, and he pretty much looked weak then. And, you know, he's also at risk of all kinds of sicknesses in prison. He recently recovered from the sickness during the quarantine that his unit in Santa Rita jail was under at the beginning of the year in January. So just all those shite conditions would put him through hell. You know, it wouldn't look good for him if he would have to stay in those any longer. So with the accumulation of that, we're hoping that he can get the lightest sentence possible, which would be an immediate release on time served, just because, I mean, by the time that March rolls around and his sentencing in probably maybe April or May comes, he would have been in Santa Rita jail for I can't remember the exact number, but he was arrested in June of last year. So by then, he would have been in Santa Rita jail for about 11 months.
Oh, it was May.
So at that point. Oh, it was May?
It was May. It was like second week of May. So
a year, like almost a year then, by the time that he's going to be sentenced. So yeah, look for the @FreeCommanderX _ account on Twitter, because in the next coming days or the next week or so, that's when you're going to see instructions on how to write a mitigation letter and how you can send a mitigation letter to X's attorney if you're interested, or if you know Commander X, or if you've worked with him before and you know you want to help. But there is a big but there. You have to be willing to use your real name and a legitimate address. I apologize. That's something that's just out of our jurisdiction. If you can't do that, then totally understand. Yeah. So yeah, in the next coming weeks, what's going to become important is anybody who knows or has worked with X before, who's willing to disclose their real name and a legitimate address to the court, we're going to be asking and trying to collect mitigation letters to help get, you know, more mercy for X in the sentence. So I think that's everything. Oh, there was a this is kind of a story from Santa Rita, but there was a trans woman that was in X's cell, and she dropped one of the deputies like a day or two ago. She eventually got taken out, but it, you know, yeah, it's a story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know why it's quiet, Mad Mom. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the usual, like, my experience with like FTAs and like courts is that most FTAs are, I mean, if you're behind bars, it's usually time served. Slam bam, thank you, man. Go back, go on probation or whatever you need to do. But those are not for as much trouble as the law enforcement community went to go get X. Like, these charges are like, they made him look like he was like some sort of like terrorist or something because crossing international borders to arrest him for these like low crimes. These are not even like a DDoS that didn't affect anything for like 30 minutes, and then the feeding the homeless. Like, I don't. Like like what they did to him and what he's being charged with are like too, like, they made him look like he was like they had got like a bank robber or something, Can anybody hear me?
Well, yeah. I was just thinking how much of a domestic threat feeding the homeless is. Just doing the mental gymnastics to sort of understand that.
Well, you're in the greatest country of the world, in the United States of America, so of course we can't have people taking it upon themselves to ensure the well-being of their community and their homeless brothers and sisters and, feed them.
I know that makes perfect sense. I still trying to sort of do the mental gymnastics for it to fit into kind of my realm of understanding. Bear with me, I'm new to this.
Yeah, there was a lot of controversy where like they didn't want people feeding the homeless people, so they made up this like stupid rule that like it had to be sanitary, and it was like an excuse to like not feed the homeless because they said they couldn't guarantee how sanitized it was, or whether it was good quality, and yeah, this is not the first time I've heard of stuff where the community has made rules that make it much harder to help the homeless community. Like another one was in Cupertino, where they had to recently allot some of those land to Section 8. So what happened when the big techs tried to file legislation on the land that it was wildlife preserve, and they couldn't build there, and then the state told them, if you're going to do that, then you're in complete violation of the law.
Just getting back to that, how sanitized the food is and not feeding the homeless, because it's best for them to get their food from where they normally do when they don't get it from anywhere else, is from a rubbish bin, because that makes perfect sense, like to eat the stuff people have thrown away. I don't want them to catch anything, you know what I mean? So I prefer if they just get it from a rubbish bin and other people's leftovers. Yeah, though it's I'm glad, that this is about keeping the homeless safe.
Yeah, not really. Yeah, I mean, it isn't really. It's just an excuse to not.
Well, they have trouble wearing their masks.
Yeah. Oh, I think those rules were like way before. No, this was like way before COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. It was. I do remember that.
Yeah, this is like way before COVID, and
with more than a few arrests for people doing nothing more than feeding homeless people. That was it. That was the law that they broke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, are we talking about the original Orlando thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite part about that story is Keith McHenry, Food Not Bombs.
Yes,
locked
I
up.
remember.
Locked up in jail there, and he got visited by a reporter, and the reporter's kind of grilling him, and he's like, well, hang on, did people still get fed? She's like, yeah. And he's like, and people couldn't get on the computer. That's what you're telling me? And the reporter's like, yeah. And he goes, and that's supposed to disrupt tourism? Yeah. He goes, were the phones down? She's like, I think we're done here.
Yeah.
How
No other way to
again?
contact these people? You're really gonna claim? Because as far as I can tell, everybody was fine.
How
Yeah.
old's Keith again? Because I'm just trying to work out his age for a terrorist. You know, I want to see how much of a threat
Oh,
level
Keith
he is.
let's see, he was in college in '84 when they started Food Not Bombs, so I'm guessing roughly close to 60. I'd say,
And
yeah, I'd say
you've got to
close.
really look out for those 60-year-old terrorists. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because
They're
they're the
wily.
most
You
dangerous.
don't get to be.
They
Look,
they are the most dangerous of all. You know, with their walking
Listen,
sticks
the
and
hypocrisy was a menace in that nursing home.
you do not get to be a 60-year-old terrorist without being incredibly wily. Think about that.
Yeah.
and they blend right in. You know what I mean? They could be your grandmother or your grandfather. You never know who it could be. This is the thing. This is the scary part of it that we're just not facing. You know what I mean?
The weird part about this is the mayor of Orlando doesn't even want Commander X's like case to even like go through, and like I thought the courts would understand that. You know, it's pretty. That says a lot of things. If the mayor of Orlando doesn't want you to be charged, if a mayor of any city doesn't want you to be charged in a case, I thought that would have some pull on the court saying, but the courts are so unpredictable now. But
Well, they don't
Well,
have
the
to
courts
charge
don't.
you as long as they hold you indefinitely. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a win-win, really.
and X's like health is not the greatest either.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the reasons why him and his lawyer sought the transfer of the Orlando indictment over to the Northern District of California in Santa Cruz to begin with, was because Lord knows he's not going to want to make a cross-country trip from fucking Santa Rita Jail in Dublin to the Middle District of Florida in Orlando to fight that case. Like, he's just not in the condition to be able
Yeah.
to do that effectively.
Yeah, he's like underweight too. I don't specifically know what his condition is, but I've talked to him several many times over the years on video calls, and he doesn't look too great. I don't know what's going on with him. If he is still in custody, he should be in a medical ward. You know.
What's the vaccination status of inmates? Is it mandatory or what? I'm just trying to work that one out.
Oh God, I don't even know. I really don't even know.
Because I know a lot of people after a certain age are noticing weight loss after the jab. It's to do with other pre-existing conditions that is causing their weight loss. Don't get me wrong, but that it has been noticed a significant decline in body mass after the injections, and that's not to take into consideration that their ability to eat decent food and exercise and all of that has been taken away.
I gained weight after the injections. But I think that's a normal process of, me getting older and lower testosterone. But and microplastics apparently in my food that I had learned about that it caused obesity. But
You can actually lose weight and start producing more testosterone by just working out. Just the simple fact of working out will start kicking your body to start producing more testosterone than what you would otherwise if you weren't working out.
yeah, like I always tell everybody, the key to boosting testosterone naturally, and besides hormone replacement, the easiest, the cheapest way is the old bodybuilder cure, ashwagandha. High doses of ashwagandha. Yeah. It turns out.
Basically, I just do push-ups.
Oh
Push-ups
no!
and sit-ups.
It's kind of weird how it works. It lowers cortisol and raises free testosterone, so your body's not actually like being fed artificial testosterone; it's just producing more. So
Yeah, no. You don't want to be fed artificial. Trust me.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
meant to take horse testosterone or bull testosterone.
Oh, that was my
we'll be
early
born with our body
20s.
producing it.
I have like cherry angiomas all over my skin. These like little red spots, and like one of the doctors spotted it, and she's like, "Were you abusing steroids?" And I said, "Yeah, about 20 years ago."
Well, I wouldn't say I was abusing them. I was very polite to them every step of the way.
Well, I'm just saying it wasn't prescribed to me. That's all I can
Well,
say.
generally, it's not wise to prescribe something that a horse naturally produces or a bull naturally produces to a human. There are side effects, as you know, and as I know. I mean, I've never done it myself. Everything I've done is au naturel, but I have seen the results, but I've also seen the side effects.
Yeah, for me, it was more of a medical necessity. I started having chronic pain at an early age, and doctors wouldn't listen to me. So I started like experimenting, and actually the testosterone, the steroids helped, but they had so many side effects that it was just not worth it. Like I was starting to have liver pain, which is not good, kidney pain.
Yeah, because your body's recognizing it as a foreign substance, so your
Yeah.
liver and kidneys start
Yeah.
filtering it out.
Yeah, and then I was having
And of course,
stretch marks.
as it starts filtering it out, you've got to take more of it.
Yeah, that was the thing. Is like when I got off of it was like the most horrible experience. I literally felt what a woman goes through on her monthly cycle, and that lasted for a whole 60 days.
Wait a fucking second.
Yeah, yeah.
Hold on.
This.
Okay,
Men
so
do actually go through a cycle, and some more than others. It's. I mean, people will go, nah, no way, no, I do.
So basically, you got PMS.
yes, for 60 days. Yeah, yeah. I went through the bloating. I went through the little bit of gynecomastia. Had to take meds for that. I felt my mood went from like 0 to happy to like crying and pissed off like for like no reason. Like I was like a basket case for like 60. Yeah, I was for like 60 days.
Doing everything, like holy shit.
Yeah, it was the most horrible experience I've had. So I was like, after that, I was like, no more. This is not worth it. I don't understand how people do this for years and years.
Right. Must be nice not getting it every month.
Oh, there's a point. There's actually a point of no return with that stuff where you've been on it so long that you can't stop taking it.
You don't want to get to that point.
Yeah. Usually these guys have like no testicles or anything, and they're on. Oh God, we just lost somebody after I said that.
I'm still here.
Oh, Corn, I thought you left after I said that.
What happened?
I mentioned a sexual organ, and we start losing people.
Sexual organ. What sound does that make?
Many sounds actually.
I bet you they don't play it in church.
Probably not.
I'm sorry. I'll stop.
So what's up with this?
I missed you guys.
What's up with this? Okay, I do want to get into the what's her name? Pariah scandal, but first I want to talk about this like Canadian blockade. I'm seeing it in the news. Can somebody update me? What is this? Like I heard about it 3 weeks ago, and I still don't know what it's about.
Okay,
Right,
they're
I got
about
it.
anti-mandates.
They're all not.
Go ahead.
Just kidding.
That's what the media is trying to paint them out to be, because they need to basically put it in the fashion that they're breaking the law so they can actually mobilize against them. But what it is thousands upon thousands of truckers and just everyday people are supporting the no mandate idea. They want the mandates to end. They want the my body, my choice. That's all it is. And what they've done is that they've gone and basically parked their trucks, and in some cases they haven't even parked their trucks, they're just doing laps. But it's caused massive congestion in the city. So to some points it's brought the city to a standstill. And because it's getting so much press coverage here and there, whether good or bad, they have to basically mobilize against it. So they're trying to turn it as if it's domestic terrorism, which basically over here in Australia, they're saying that our news is saying there's a state of emergency in Ottawa and domestic terrorists causing the city to come to a standstill, and we need to act now. Now, currently, there's also a truck convoy heading to Canberra in Australia as well. So this is not just in Ottawa. This is basically in several countries the same thing is happening. But they're trying to pretend or play it down, or at the worst case, they're trying to twist it that these guys are terrorists or domestic terrorists because by being anti-vax, by being anti-mandate, right, somehow equates to anti-vax. Being anti-vax means that you're stopping people from getting the vaccine, and then from stopping people getting the vaccine, you're now harming people. So we've gone from being anti-mandate to physically harming people now. And they've had to do, several backflips, somersaults, and all sorts of shit to get to that point. But what they're trying to do is lump together the far right, anti-vax, right-wing extremists all in the one group, as well as the QAnons all in the one group, so they can actually start mobilizing laws against this. But the truck convoy is nothing else except fighting against the mandates. That's it. That's all it's about. But they will twist it to every which way they can to turn the public against them.
Right.
And that's it. That's it in a nutshell.
That's what we're experiencing everywhere. That's everywhere.
Yeah, it's actually. It's actually getting to the point where, and I'm starting to see where these people are coming from, and so a lot of this stuff I wasn't buying into, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm just telling you, like I'm pretty blunt, about the way that I feel, and I usually been pretty vocal about it. That's the Chicago in me, I guess. But before I was like totally, hey, let's just do the vaccines and maybe we'll get over this. Well, the herd immunity thing didn't exactly work like they said it would. It might actually be a lollipop land at this point with this virus. But the thing is that we're seeing time and time again. Like there's one country now, Tonga, or one of those island nations, has a 98% vaccination rate, and they're experiencing an epidemic right now.
Tyler, where the fuck have you been for the last 2 years, my friend? Because you were on the show while we were hammering this into your head every single week with like study after study after study after study after study after study after study.
Oh, it might have been all the weed. It's like goes in one ear out the other.
God bless you for finally starting to see the light now that technocratic tyranny has shoved its foot in your ass. But I do appreciate you coming around. But like the whole last reason that you're on a show with a bunch of people that are connected to the fucking information grid is you don't have to spend 2 years walking around with your head up your ass.
I'm one of those.
Holy fuck,
I'm one of those. I don't know. I'm one of those hermits that'll be in the middle of a crowd, be like, and like 10 years later, that's why we're here.
California liberal. That's all it is. You're a fucking Southern California liberal, and if you start talking truth for 10 minutes outdoors, they'll crucify you. You can't do it. You're not.
I don't label. Actually, I don't label myself as left or right. I've actually been talking to my friend about that because I remember a point in time in America where political affiliations weren't that important, and now it's gotten to the point where I'm just like, you know what, like. I'm just a human, and I like things from different aspects, but I can't find one party that I agree anything 100% with. That's the God's honest truth.
Well,
Yeah.
there
Well,
is a
you
reason
shouldn't,
for that.
because the state is an abomination, and it's fucking out of step with nature and should be abolished and destroyed. But I mean, that's neither here nor there.
No,
I just
a
wanna
lot of
say,
the. Go
there
ahead.
is no left and there is no right, right? They're two heads of the same snake, taking turns and screwing the people, right? And giving the people basically this endless stalemate. So no change actually happens, but you do get this great show for people to watch and observe of how one side appears to be against the other side for perceived reasons, but actually nothing beneficial to the people ever takes place unless it benefits the 1%. And then maybe if the people benefit from one of the changes that benefits the 1%, then your side that got it pushed through will look like, hey, at least the left's doing something good, or hey, at least the right's doing something good. But it's actually it's an engineered stalemate to keep the status quo, so no change actually ever takes place. And the only time any change actually does take place is when a third party all of a sudden appears, and then it's quickly whether the left or the right are going to co-opt them or infiltrate them to pull them into their side to make sure that there's only two parties again.
Well, yeah, that's not the only thing. Like, there's a lot of also trickle down effect whenever these policies get implemented, and you believe it or not, there is a lot of thievery that happens in between when these things go out and when they go out to private contractors. Case in example
Yeah, I don't
was.
think anybody else is a white belt here tonight.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. Like, I'm looking at the chat. They all seem to be pretty savvy in terms of how the world operates. In terms of surprise, I mean, we just had the ACLU come out with the breaking news that the CIA monitors and steals your fucking personal information.
Oh my God, you're lying.
Yeah, you're
that can't be
so
true.
that late on that breaking ACLU. Jesus.
Like, Ron
No
Wyden.
way.
Ron Wyden
I don't believe it.
just now found this out. Ron
Really?
Wyden,
You
who's been
you
a
shut your
fucking
filthy,
member-
blasphemous mouth.
Yeah, I know. What about all the other shit? You know, there was Edward Snowden, like all the shit that over the years, and what the fuck? Remember the whole AT? Do you remember the whole AT&T scandal?
So I say that to say this, Tyler. I apologize, and I may have been too harsh on you earlier.
You remember the whole? It's okay. Remember the whole AT&T scandal in the early 2000s, where the NSA was didn't have a search warrant, and AT&T was just handing them anything that they wanted, and it was everything.
Yeah, they had a data collection center.
Mm-hmm.
And you know
In Utah.
that explosive RV where the guy killed himself, that was in front of one of those AT&T collection centers.
Yeah, it's
I
in
don't know whether
Utah.
you knew that or not.
The weird part about that facility is that it's like, I think it's built. Isn't it built? It's built like a dodecahedron.
Bunker.
Yeah. So it's shaped weird, so it can't be penetrated by anything.
It
Yeah.
will withstand some pretty decent shockwaves to protect the data inside.
Dude, like I know this from, dealing with big databases and lots of, massive amounts of information, is that if you don't have like some sort of fucking script or something scanning, it's just a bunch of garbage at that point. I don't understand how they could organize such a thing with that amount of audio data. I don't know. They have to have something.
You don't have to sort through it. You don't have to sort through it because there's too much data to sort through. All you need to do is collect it. Then later on, only look for the people that are flagged. That way, it limits the amount of work that you need to go through. Because as long as it's backed up, you can then backdate to whatever you need to once you have somebody flagged. But that's why the flagging thing is so important for them, because there's so much data coming through that basically they haven't got enough analysts to go through it.
No.
So that's why they need to basically record it copy it all and back it up. That way, when somebody is flagged, you've got years and years of data that you can go through quickly once you have a name to link it to.
And how has this benefited America in any way, shape, or form? Illegal arrest warrants, pre-crime.
Well, it's benefited the rich and allowed them to make sure to spot out who the dissenting voices are and label them as a threat and flag them. So that way, you can minimize their damage that would threaten your supremacy and your control. That's what it's all about, is protecting themselves, the 1% protecting themselves. It's got nothing to do with keeping you safe.
Yeah, there are ways around all of that stuff. You just got to get really, really, really fancy with communications, with wireless communication, wired communications. It can be done, but it is not easy to keep everything from being monitored on some level. God, where does
the Queen stand on all of this activity going on in the Commonwealth? Anything to say for the subject?
I don't think she said anything about Andrew. Has she? Or
oh no, well that wouldn't be keeping up airs. We can't talk about that.
No, I think the last thing she said she wanted was like somebody to be the Queen of England soon, and she's not gonna live forever, but
yeah, we should pick Prince Andrew to be the Queen of England. What? Why are you laughing? I was being serious. It's perfectly normal.
We have a pedophile.
He's so popular. Look how often he's in the news. People love him
for being a pedophile.
Well, you got two
I'm
choices.
just saying he's at least well known.
Well-known
you got a choice of him or the other even bigger pedophile, Prince Charles, Jimmy Savile, and all that.
Well, those guys have to pay for it. Look at their faces.
Weird or weirder?
At the moment, I got to admit, COVID, vaccines, and the data coming through has taken up a lot of my research for the last 2 years. Easy. Since sort of towards the end of 2019. And I've had to go back even further, because if you actually go back further just before 2019, right, you'll notice that before COVID hit, many hospitals around the world were cost cutting, removing beds, shutting down wings, cutting back on staff. And then all of a sudden, COVID hits, and now you have to be vaccinated. So what do? Any doctor, nurse, or caretaker that doesn't get vaccinated is sacked. So they were already cutting back on beds, on wards, and on staff. Now they've cut half of the staff that were left, and now all of a sudden our hospitals are overrun. Well, that wouldn't happen to be because you fucking got rid of all the beds, closed down wards, and sacked half of your staff, would it?
Yeah, but they were on TikTok doing dances and everything. They seem to have a lot.
Yeah, those were the ones that had no fucking clue of what's going on, right? And will fucking dance to any song. Really, come on, let's be realistic.
Well,
they're following the Pied
Piper. People are getting more sick because we're shooting their natural immunity in the balls with a shotgun.
We are, irreversibly, from what the data is showing. Irreversible damage. This is what worries me. I was hoping that in most cases it was reversible, given enough time that the body's own immune system would repair itself. Some of the data coming back now is showing that in some cases this is not happening. The damage is actually becoming long-term, especially with the severe damage of autoimmune disorders, where now those people are reliant on medication just to be like they once were. So this is making a whole bunch of new customers that are dependent now on the medical system and are much more subservient and obedient, because otherwise, they've got bigger things to worry about, like their health now. Gotta love it. But hey, what do I know?
You're just a citizen. I'm
I
on the
don't
subject
know,
of
but good thing you're in Australia, because according to the DHS, that misinformation you're spreading now counts as terrorism.
I know.
Thank you.
I'm fully aware. As you know, recently, me and Mark and the rest of the admins of Public Access Anonymous
Got
lost our
yeeted.
accounts permanently, to the point all the way back to the email. So the same email cannot be used now to create another account, which is fair enough. It's cool. I'll just create another one. But look, they are cracking down harder and harder, and the reason is because they're losing control of the narrative.
Well,
What
sometimes
COVID
they
has
ban your
done,
IP too.
yes, they haven't done that yet because that's a little harder for them to stop. But look, anyway, the point is, right, they're losing control of the narrative. They're panicking. And what COVID has done is, because I've been talking to a lot of fucking people from a lot of different professions, and these people were quiet up until recently. They were happy living their lives, paying their bills, looking after their family. But now, right, their livelihood is being taken away unless they do something which they know is wrong or are just skeptical about, right? They're being blackmailed. Now, it's causing them to question the system and what is being said, not just around COVID, but the previous things that they were aware of, like 9/11, the Iraq War, right? They're now re-examining all of the other things that they had a gut feeling about that they were being lied to. And it's caused massive momentum within the professional industries to basically start taking root in a massive way. Because, I mean, you can be bombarded with information, but if you're busy earning a living, keeping your family fed, paying the bills, paying the mortgage, that sort of shit, you don't have time to research. Now, these people have lost their jobs. They're fucking intelligent people, right? They're not your fringe groups, right? These people have got degrees and shit. So now they've got a lot of time on their hands, and they're putting it to good use. They're doing their own research and shit. They're seeing it for themselves. Many are getting lost in the maze that Google creates to lead you to what they want you to see, and then fact checkers tries to sort of minimize the damage there. But these people are waking up very quickly and in greater and greater numbers as time moves ahead. And remember, I don't know if you guys were there when I said, all we need is these vaccines to damage enough people and the shift will start shifting on its own. Like the bar will start moving on its own.
Not only damaging, because part of the goal with the vaccines was to be able to take enough of your medical information to create a digital ID with it.
Indeed, it's all part of the parcel. But this is the thing: people are questioning that as well. Like there are so many things now that they've opened a Pandora's box, and they didn't equate for this. I mean, they think they're so clever. I love it. It's so cute. But look, the point is that this is all about control, because the ones that don't die are now reliant on the system for their medication to basically stay alive, because their immune system has now been so heavily damaged that they're falling prey to all the pre-existing things that they used to be able to keep at bay. They can no longer keep at bay. Like, there's been a massive increase in the amount of HPV medication being sold, because people who used to be able to keep it under wraps and controlled can no longer do that because their immune system is extremely damaged. And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Shot from the mRNA jabs. I mean, and all the other quote unquote public health measures that they forced most people and most of the populace to take too, having to mask up, forcing you to breathe in your own sweat and shit, forcing kids to sanitize head to toe with corrosive hand sanitizer, limiting human contact as much as possible, limiting contact with your natural environment, forcing lockdowns so you have no chance of correcting the vitamin D deficiency that a lot of humans naturally have. I mean, suppressing early treatments that emphasize stuff like an intake of vitamin D and zinc, all this shit.
Yep. No, I agree with you. It's funny you should mention the lockdowns and the social distancing, right? Because that limits the amount of information.
And fostering an entire mental health crisis with that too.
Oh Jesus fucking
No.
Christ, dude! Don't even get me started on that, dude. We had
hours
and hours and hours of shows on this.
It's all connected.
throughout.
It's all connected.
Yes.
It's all connected. It's like, I mean, it was like 9/11, right? They hit many birds with the one stone. So when
Well,
somebody
you have
goes,
to
oh, well,
draw a
look,
straight
they
line.
did this for this and this and this and this and this and this and this, and the people just can't wrap their head around all the different things that it's caused. And the ramifications of all of those things, like a domino effect and a massive, massive ripple effect, like that just spans far and wide in every direction. And people can't wrap their head around this, so it's much easier for them to just go, oh, that's just a conspiracy theorist. He can't even pick a reason for why it was done, you know. Look at all the reasons he's you know, spinning off of the top of his head, you know. And all they've got to do is find a flaw in one of those reasons, and their own mental gymnastics then disregards anything else that goes along with it.
You can easily find several reasons for this whole scandemic if you just peruse through the newest entries in the World Economic Forum Strategic Intelligence Series.
Who has time to do this?
They spell the shit out for you, honestly.
Who has time to do this?
You could also pick just about any episode of Slow News Day over the last 2 years.
Oh, wow,
That
really?
reminds me.
I love that
That
show,
reminds
Steve.
me.
And
Yeah, that's not a
real
bad
quick,
show. That guy's pretty
if you-
cool. I've been wanting to chat to him for ages, man. If you could put me in touch with him, Steve, that would be fucking awesome.
If you want to hear it in 2 minutes, man, Piers Robinson laid it down back in September.
Excuse
where
me, Steve.
Dr.
There you go.
Piers Robinson laid it down back in September. And with the economic underpinnings of all of this, you could draw a very short, very straight line between 9/11 and COVID-19 84, and you've got, in many cases, the same actors and certainly the same companies, corporations, and government agencies responsible for the same events. It fucking... it sucks.
Straight out of
Yeah.
PNAC.
It sucks that in 2020, when this thing kicked off, there had been a half decade or more of the quote-unquote left and independent media in general who had ran away from 9/11, who had ran away from talking about anything that had to do with the national security state outside of the context of WikiLeaks, which was helpful to have WikiLeaks at the time. But post fucking Belmarsh, there was and has been a giant fucking void of people who will not discuss it, and when people do discuss it, of course, they're immediately marginalized and immediately pushed into the furthest recesses of the internet.
Well, they're extremists.
And now that it's
apparently.
all coming back into the fucking foray, they're using it for counter narrative. They're using it to funnel people directly into the Republican Party of all places.
Don't fall for it.
For some, it's way too late. They've not only fallen for it, but they can't get up.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. God, you must get angry when I do my fucking Australian and New Zealander voice.
No, not at all. I mean, look, I'm not gonna give you any compliments on your accent. I mean, you need to work on it. I'm not gonna lie to you either. I'm sorry. No, it's great. It's awesome, and that's the best part of the show. Yeah, no, it's. If you want me to lie to you, just tell me what you want me to say. Like, I got to be honest with you.
No, Jesus Christ, man, no.
No, don't call me that, please.
Oh.
A man? Did we misgender you?
No, Jesus Christ.
Quick burger.
Yeah, no, that wasn't an address. That was an exclamation. Oh, yeah, I get it.
Why is
I
it-
don't know. You could have the same barber. I had the same.
And
barber
besides,
as you just for a while.
I don't have an accent. You do.
No, I get it. I do.
How does that accent? I mean, is it because you're in the southern hemisphere and the English mind, when it's twisted like that, and goes to Australia?
I think it's more being isolated on an island for far too long. and being a convict penal colony to start with, then being the banana republic that America viewed us as until they realised that we have a lot of iron ore and rare minerals, and a strategic position to sort of basically box in Asia. We were just backwards banana republic that was just quite happy to be used as a money laundering place for their bank by the CIA until that was discovered. But yeah, no, look, the CIA has basically messed with Australian politics as far back as I can go into. I mean, just
1957 was the first point of entry that I've been able to find, but it could have been a couple of years earlier.
There was one of our prime ministers that kind of went for a swim and just never came back.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was opposed to certain things, which once he sort of never came back, his opposition kind of disappeared at the same time. It's funny how that worked. It's just, such a coincidence. But yeah, that's as far back as I can take it. And then from there, it just doesn't stop. But it was still just considered a backwards banana republic, you know what I mean? Like a place to start a bank for the CIA to do some nice, quiet money laundering for, drug shipments and guns and black operations in Asia and, wherever they could, because it was a nice little hopping stone. A lily pad base.
We look at it kind of like Israel. You're like a aircraft carrier. We don't have to keep over there,
Yeah. Think of us like Diego Garcia, except they didn't kill all of our pets and then ship us off somewhere else under threat.
Or blow up some nukes on it and fuck up your island.
Oh, that's Bikini Island, and no, they did different stuff to those people. They tested them.
Oh, it's so fucked.
Yeah, that's.
So workers.
Well, it's a large island, so you can't blow it all up. Plus, England came already and tested their bomb here, so you can't go dropping bombs in your allies' backyard, especially when one of your allies has beat you to it. So yeah, no, they kind of. We had a good workforce. We weren't really producing much of anything significant back then, but now we've got access to uranium and rare earth metals, gold, high-grade iron ore, oil and gas. There's the big one, oil and gas. Ooh.
Oh man, we're gonna have to move our military over there. Watch out.
Well, we're gonna have to. They're gonna have to drop some bombs of democracy and freedom on us soon. If we don't cooperate. So.
Well, yeah. Look what's happening. You obviously you've lost it. So
do you know what the new thing is? Do you know what the new thing is? The last 3 days, right? Unnamed sources, right here, have declared that they have evidence that Russia interfered in our last election.
Of course.
I wonder who gave them that idea. It's amazing. And
Y'all can't even get original with this shit. Like, come on.
No, well, look, we're reading the playbook and we're playing it step by step. And our ASIO, or the equivalent to the CIA and NSA and that, will neither confirm or deny this. But the media has no drama, letting it slip for the last 3 days, here and there and all over the place.
Well, aren't you closer to Russia than we are? I mean, that would.
And look at the timing, though. Look at the timing, right? While they're painting themselves into a corner with the COVID situation, and the more and more evidence right now is coming out of how damaging this is, right? Eventually, the cat's going to come out of the bag, and they're going to have to create a diversion or something to get your attention off of it. And nothing gets your attention away from, one thing like a war with Russia and Ukraine, where all of the NATO allies all of a sudden have to get drawn into it. Great timing though, because you got to have plan B ready. Just in case plan A, falls in the arse.
Yeah, if destroy your economy and sabotage your currency, and when all that fails, they have to take you.
Oh, our economy is pretty much almost destroyed. Our major trading partner up until recently was China and the Asia bloc. And I think it equated for 75% of our foreign trade, which allowed our dollar to keep rising in value. And it was getting closer and closer to the US dollar. Since our new strategic policy of going over to the South China Sea, which is several countries oceans away, and telling them, hey, you can't build a defensive island off of your coast in your country's waters. They've kind of punished us by, ceasing a lot of the trade to start with, and what is left has imposed tariffs on it. So that's caused our exports to go down and in turn affected our dollar. But it's done great for the US dollar, which is good. And don't get me started on the submarine deal, where now part of that deal is that the US can have bases here and refueling stops and so on and so forth, where they're currently up north building a massive fuel storage facility, storing I think 4 million or 3 million litres of fuel, which is only to be used for US purposes, US military purposes. But they did say that if Australia ever needed some of that fuel, that we could have some. But we'll see if that ever happens. Because why would you?
How much are American promises worth these days?
Well,
Negative
it depends how gullible you
$12.
are. It all depends on how gullible you are. I mean, doesn't it? Or have I misunderstood this?
You're not wrong.
I just, please correct me if I'm, getting sidetracked or wrong, because I'm here to learn as well.
So, here's the deal. See, if our fuel is there now, and if you guys try anything to sabotage or do anything with that fuel, we'll have to respond. You see how America
Well, think of it this way, right? Because it gets better than that. Because you're not going to ship your fuel over here and pay for the shipping costs and so on and so forth. So what you're going to do is you're going to start a nuclear submarine deal, right? That that they can't afford because it's overpriced 4 times more than what we used to pay, and we were having trouble paying that. So what you can then is demand 3 million litres of fuel, all processed to fill the silos that you're filling up for storage, and have the country do it for you and take some of that money away from what you owe them, while at the same time getting them to build your facility for you as well. So that way take the money off of that particular project. So now you've got a foreign country using its taxpayer dollars to build you a fuel silo and fill it up for you. And this is just one project.
Well, you saw those weapons we left for the Afghanis. I mean, we're generous people.
Well, look, that is very true, and I've got to admit, with the way that the US gives bombs out is so generous, and those explosions of freedom and democracy, I mean, those countries are so much happier now since then. Look how prosperous they are. I mean,
Freedom
they're
and
really...
democracy and prosperity are our main exports, Vandy Man.
I love peace and freedom, and I'm willing to kill as many men, women, and children as possible to achieve that goal. You know what I mean?
Man, we need more guys like you.
Yeah, drone strike an innocent Syrian family all day, every day.
I should run for Congress.
You're perfectly fit.
I don't know. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough money first to invest in the industrial military complex. So like Raytheon and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I probably have to rob a few more people, because you got to start at the ground floor. You can't just go robbing countries. You've got to really sort of start robbing your neighbours first, and then a few people down the block, and
Get into a think tank first. get into a think tank.
Yeah,
first.
but
That might
like-minded
be-
people
that
are
might
hard
be
to
the right
find.
corner of the revolving door for you to start at.
Like-minded people are so hard to find, you know, that are on the level. And the door swings both ways on that. I love that. You know that there's something in it when it's a double-edged sword. It's universally correct, no matter which way you look at it. Those are called universal constants, or universals. Like, there are a million types of chairs, but they all share the basic characteristics of what a chair does and its purpose. And that is a universal chair, that all chairs share characteristics of that universal trait.
So do we have a standard chair? Universal chair.
It's the universal chair, and it's more of a mental concept than anything else, if you know what I mean. It's kind of more of a philosophical concept, but a philosophical constant nonetheless, which gives it substance. That's timeless, and that's what you're looking for. That's true knowledge. When you can impose it over any situation and the answer always remains the same and gives the best possible outcome, that is a universal constant. And I took that approach when looking at religion. I went and looked at all religions, as many as I could get involved in, to try and understand. And where their philosophies overlapped, I considered those as universals. Those are the things that I took away from all of them.
Yeah, you're right. There is, I've done the same thing over the years and studied many, many different religions. They do. A lot of the concepts overlap, even to the proto. But a lot of people don't even know what the proto-Judeo-Christian religion is. It's a Zoroastrianism, and I've actually seen a few of the temples. A lot
of people with the big words.
Oh yeah,
It was an ancient Persian religion.
Yeah, it was pre-Jew, pre-Jewish, pre-Christian.
No.
Yeah,
where does the Book of Enoch fit in on that?
I'm not exactly sure, but it is the first monotheistic religion, and it dates back before
BC.
Before the Egyptians. I know it's 3000 BC, so the only religions that would have been, the only cultures that would have been around at that time were the Sumer, which had their
Sumerians.
Yeah, they had their own religion.
Ancient Nubians of the Sea group.
Yeah, Babylonians, stuff like
Hindus, the Hinduism.
The Hindus were around, but but as far as like that was like a different one of the more ancient religions that are still around today besides Hinduism. Hindu is very ancient religion too, but they also overlap.
Interesting in itself. I still need to look into Hindu religion.
They have this god above
that was out of my reach.
I lived with a Hindu, and that's how I learned.
To introduce me to it.
Yeah, I lived with a Hindu for about 6 months, and that's how I learned a lot. But I don't know everything. I know there's like 22 million gods, and they have this god above them all, which is named Vishnu, and he can appear as any animal or anything that he can. And I'm like, dude, okay, so like it is
any living thing or object.
Yeah, and it could be. It is the where we would incorporate. It is a polytheistic, but it does have the same structure as what you would call. The Catholic, even the Catholics, they
interesting.
Yeah, the Catholics have, these saints, which would be demigods, right? And then you have one God above them all.
Considering everything else that I've learned, right? Now that you've said that, makes it even more interesting because it does fill a lot of the gaps while at the same time overlapping over things that I'm already aware of or perceived to be sort of thing. So it's interesting that the one that I haven't had a chance to look into happens to hold all the little keys of where I sort of was paused on or need to come back to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
interesting.
It's very old, and they're honestly some of their history, and I don't want to get into some ancient alien stuff, but some of their old writing about like the Vegas and stuff like that.
A lot of that ancient alien stuff has been debunked, but there is stuff there that still hasn't.
Yeah, like the Vegas,
the
Vegas,
really sift through it.
The Vegas and the ancient temples. They just don't make any sense because You know, you got a civilization about 1,000 years,
The ancient Sumerians.
yeah, no, you have you have the civilization like 1,000 years after the previous civilization, and they cannot build the structures that they were building before. So obviously, they had access to something that the other previous civilization. It must have been a little more advanced. I don't know. Maybe fusing of rocks. I have no idea,
I do remember one ancient city, and I can't remember the name of it. It's either Sodom or Gomorrah. I can't remember where they thought that that's where the city was. But anyway, they took radiation readings, and they were higher than anywhere around the surrounding area.
I think that's in
As to
Pakistan.
how or why?
Yeah, that's in Pakistan where they found us an
But
ancient
there's
city.
multiple locations. There's
Yeah.
multiple locations.
Yeah, they found the when they were doing the archaeological site and they did the Geiger counter on them, they found out that they were actually radiated with higher than normal background radiation. It was actually residual gamma
And
radiation. Yeah.
as they'd move away from the site, the readings went down.
Yeah,
That's
these
what
are.
surprised them.
This is not something that you would even find in if you had uranium ore in the area, which would give off similar readings, but uranium ore
I don't
is
know.
it's not.
I've taken readings off core samples, which
Oh,
is
you can get
not processed, right? And
Yeah.
it read off the chart. Like the reader only had 4 digits that it could read. You know what I mean? And it came up with 9999. I mean, this was off the scale. You know
'Cause
what I mean?
I
And
know-
This was while I was working as a geotech and analyzing core samples to build 3-dimensional models of the undersurface mineral deposits.
Really?
Based
'Cause it-
upon the drills and the diagonal of the drilling, as you analyze the core in meter lengths down the depth. And that's why it's so important to take core samples and measure the depths and write the depths on the core samples so you know roughly what depth you were at when you got that piece of core, because it allows the computer then to assume that 5 meters around that core sample is exactly the same material. And that's how you calculate the marketability or the, how valuable it is, the area that you've chose to, survey. Just to give you a bit of background.
Yeah, because I just know from watching, what was that guy? I used to follow him on you because I never worked with like anything like nuclear like that. Maybe americium and stuff, but nothing. But I remember this guy. He had like uranium ore. They had mined himself, and it wasn't even like.
It just looks like rock.
Yeah, it looked like rock, but it wasn't like the
You couldn't
concentration.
tell the difference.
No, the it was giving off high rads, but honestly, it wasn't anything that would keep you in danger if you're around it for a few hours, maybe days. You'd be in some trouble, but it wasn't concentrated enough. So I guess that can change based on where you're at, but I don't know.
I know people who used to rest their lunch and their drinks on the core trays, not really realizing, because it was a while before somebody more experienced came to the site and said, "Why aren't we taking radiation readings of the core trays?" And then everybody was like, okay. And he's going, well, by procedure and protocol, we should be taking magnetic readings and radiation readings, and they should be written on every single core tray, so that way people are aware of the risk level of each core sample, because they come in 3-meter lengths in a tray, and on that tray should be all of the data, as in what depth that corresponds to, those 3 meters, and the angle of the drill, and what hole, the hole number, and then the magnetic reading, and then a radiation reading written on the tray as well. So that way, the higher radiation reading trays, you could process them quickly and not, sort of dawdle around and minimize your exposure to it, because basically at some point that core needs to be cut in half, and that has to go through a saw that sprays that stuff as a fine dust everywhere, which is awesome. And then half of that sample is left with the core tray as a backup sample, and the other half is sent to the lab, where it's broken down and you get a basic mineral makeup of it on that exact half, you know what I mean, to get even much more refined data sort of thing. So, and then all of that gets thrown into the computer, and the computer program then builds the undersurface mineral deposits, where you can then change, instead of 5 meters around that particular hole, it's 10 meters. Say if your holes are 10 meters apart, all on the same angle. And you can assume that 5 meters around that core sample radius is exactly the same material. So yeah, you can get quite accurate undersurface mineral deposits, all in a full 3D, visualization of exactly what's there and what's it made up of, and how much gold is in it, how much iron is in it, how much copper is in it, all of that jazz.
Did you ever hear about that the rocks around Sodom and Gomorrah that they found around there? High rocks. There were rocks around there that were just almost pure sulfur.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
you can burn them. Yeah, you can burn them too. And I was just like, okay,
something like that.
Yeah, and I was like, well, maybe that fire and brimstone might have been actually real,
It's interesting what a nuclear explosion does to the human body.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. There's fire raining from the sky. I was just like, maybe it was like a comet or some. Even you might actually get some nuclear explosions with even high impact space debris.
Depending on what that debris is consisting
of, yeah.
I mean, it's plausible. Provable?
No, not provable.
Unlikely.
Yeah, and unlikely, yeah. But I don't know.
Therein lies the problem.
There is a lot of weird evidence, that there is lost history in America, or not America, and all over the world.
Sometimes you have to say, please stop, you're confusing me with facts.
Well, I probed, into that whole, ancient alien stuff. There's just a lot of weird
where you reach.
Yeah.
There's a certain point where you reach information overload. You know what I mean?
There's just too much evidence out there to say that, ancient man was way more advanced. You also need time to process it all, put it in chronological order. I mean, this takes time as well. And when you're constantly being bombarded with more data that complicates what you're trying to process with the data that you previously just had trouble processing and almost come to terms with, more data drops on your lap, which just confuses it even more, and now you're back to square one where you have to now find a place for this new data, if there is a place at all. Yeah. Like that 10,000-year-old hammer they found. Like, what the fuck?
There's many things like that just
don't make sense. Yeah, like the ancient
things that make you go,
Like that that sundial, the astrological gear machine they found in the bottom of the Mediterranean makes no sense because we didn't even know how to. God, that thing had to have been made at least 2000 BC.
What about Star Force?
What Star Force?
Star Forts. Forts.
I don't know anything about that.
They're massive complexes all throughout the world. There's buildings on them. Some are more just and they're to such geometric precision over mass landscape that at the time of their supposed construction, the physical equipment to lay out something that precise did not exist.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, we say it didn't exist, but the evidence makes you kind of scratch your head and go, well, if it didn't exist, how the fuck did we do it?
Flood.
There is evidence of massive floods taking place that is suspected to be a northern glacier.
Tartaria, bitches!
Oh, boy.
A northern glacier that was holding back a lot of water that had thawed after the last ice age. And when
Right.
that glacial
They're
wall
owned to
broke,
beat the ice giants and
it allowed for a lot of this water to come flooding through. And I think there's a certain... Give me a sec, I'll find out. It's that space between Egypt and Greece and, you know, what's it called?
the taint.
Yeah. No. I need a map. But yeah, that apparently was all dry land until the place between Gibraltar and like the glacier that was formed there broke and allowed the ocean to come flooding through, which is supposed to equate for the Noah's flood and all of that shit.
Can I come in? I need to find my backpack.
And it was supposed to be after the last ice age,
Can I find my
when
backpack?
those, you know, ice shelves broke that were holding back the ocean.
You mean holding it within the Arctic basin inside this flat?
No.
Fucking with you. Fucking with you.
Well, you're doing a damn good job. I'm impressed. You got me, man. You got me. You guys. Wait, cut it out. So how was my accent?
It's funny.
Funny
You
haha or
tried to
funny
do an
strange?
You tried to do an American accent? Did I miss
The
it?
Mediterranean. I took a shot at it. Okay, it's the Mediterranean that I'm talking about, and the glacial belt was between Gibraltar or Tarifa and Belyonic or Edalia. And that's where the, you know, between North Africa and Spain, that's where the ice shelf gave way and then flooded all of that internal area of the Tehran Sea, the Mediterranean, you know, all of that then got flooded. But that's where it's suspected, hypothetical here, you know, yet to be proven, is where, you know, Noah and all of that jazz apparently took place in that area. If you were to believe that. And this was supposed to have happened after the last ice age. Because that was holding the North Atlantic Ocean back, that particular ice shelf.
Yeah, I honestly don't know enough about that at all.
And the Baltic Sea, all of that kind of area. The Adriatic. And just as an interesting side note, there is a specific island called Santorini, and that is suspected to be
the mouth of hell, right?
No. That was suspected to be Atlantis. Actually, if you go to Santorini, which they've found recently, under about 50 to 60 feet of volcanic debris, there is a massive city across the entire expanse of the island that predates the Roman and Greek civilizations by about 1,000 years. And it was connected to the Minoan civilization off Crete, but it wasn't the epicenter, because being a volcanic island of Santorini, before it went boom, it allowed sulfur to be accessed, minerals, metals, you name it. Like it kind of had it all. Warm waters, being a volcanic area and abundant in minerals, there was heaps of bacteria to feed on those minerals. And of course, the bacteria then breeds crustaceans and fish and so on and so forth. So the waters around there were extremely plentiful as well. So not just did it have, you know, massive access to minerals and metals and so on and so forth, and high temperatures, but it also had access to massive amounts of food and so on and so forth. But at some point, it went kaboom due to the volcano that's there, and that created a massive tidal wave, which is what wiped out the Minoan civilization in Crete. And the Minoan civilization and that city that they found at Santorini, the island of Santorini, date around the same time period as well, give or take a couple of hundred years. Just a bit of a side note there.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm boring you with that.
No, it's okay.
Oh, no, you're not. I'm just listening.
I heard. I want to do kind of a move it off topic a little bit. I did. I saw PX4, the hacker, again appears in another article. I'm not sure if it's related to the first attack, but apparently he's going after the DPRK internet. Apparently he's been knocking it offline. I really didn't know how bad Lazarus Group was doing cyber attacks, and I started following some of the people on the cybersecurity task force on from the South Korean side, and they're pretty active. And some of these hacks are just like, what the fuck? Like, they were hiding malicious data and PDFs, which is not too difficult to do. It's just
The complexity of it.
Yeah, it's a little more. A lot of it's not too complicated, but they were leaving it on like normal invoices for like train tickets, which were really just malicious. The PDF is not really a PDF. God, there's all sorts of weird stuff that they do, and apparently this goes back and forth every day. This kind of shit. Which makes
you question every decent PDF file that you have with some juicy information.
Yeah.
It makes you question, that PDF, because basically a vulnerability needs to be sort of found and known of before a virus needs to be discovered and found before an antivirus can be written. So they're always 2 steps ahead, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And if it just hasn't been found, how long have you been holding on to a Trojan? And don't even know it.
That's how they did the Swift hack in Bank of Bangladesh. Yeah, the Lazarus Group walked off with $88 million. They almost stole $500 million. They almost got away with it.
During 9/11.
Oh no, this was in 2014, 2016.
No, I know. I'm just teasing because they stole a fuckload during 9/11 too.
Oh yeah,
massive fucking transfers taking place, both just before, during, and after the crashes, until just before the buildings went down, and then they were sort of still trying to, but you can't sort of access the server when the building's not standing anymore.
If you want to really
they were transferring massive amounts of cash.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the Bank of Bangladesh was kind of like, if you ever seen Ocean's 11, it was kind of like that, like how it went down. It was so well planned out. There were so many holidays and just planning on people's, malicious. Dude, it almost went down flawless,
Well, the best hack is the one that nobody knows that you've even been hacked. You don't change anything, you don't destroy anything, you don't delete anything, you just find a way in. Then when you need to, right, and you've got all of your plans and all the pieces on the board and the chess set up, then you make a move, and you make one move where you make all the moves simultaneously in one go.
Yeah. A lot of people think
First of all, is just setting up the pieces.
A lot of people think that hacking is like in the movies. Not joking. Oh, good. Doesn't work like that. No, not like in the movies. You just get to a command prompt and start pressing things, and it starts working like that. No. You got to poke and prod.
What's your opinion on Telegram? Who still uses it?
Public service announcement. These Telegram chats, they're riddled with feds. It's better than Twitter DM groups. It's better, obviously it's better than Twitter DM groups. Obviously it's better than organizing on Facebook or using IG to organize, but for fuck's sake, these group chats are riddled with feds.
It's not the only thing. The program Telegram connects you straight to your device, connects straight to all of your contacts, all of your chats, all of your groups, and allows them to build 3 web models of connections between people based upon subject matter and so on and so forth. It's awesome.
Signal does the same thing.
If you have it, get rid of it.
Signal does the same thing, and it announces new users based off of internal what's called
but yeah,
entries in your phone.
Know, just to give you a quick heads up.
Yeah, it's not the most secure.
I had to have a look. I was trying to get a hold of a friend, the guy that does Storm Clouds Gathering, and yeah, he was saying that he uses that. So I went on it, said g'day, and then started looking into it, and I was just like, holy shit, you're fucking joking. So yeah, I had to sort of let him know, dude, I'm out of here, and just a quick heads up, this is kind of what I found. Just giving you a heads up, and it's up to you if you want to still continue using it. Just be careful, kind of thing, because yeah, this thing's pretty full on.
Well, it doesn't matter what software you're running if you're on a compromised platform.
Yes, and the platform. A super user has unlimited access to fucking. Man, I can't even begin to explain it. But yeah, just get rid of it.
So what are you going to use?
Discord at this point is a little better.
Oh God! I can't.
It's not the best, but it's better than Telegram.
I can't speak for the intricacies of encryption and.
I think Wire seems to be a little better.
Other platforms, but yeah, I was gonna say Wire.
Wicker.
Element, which uses the Matrix. Yeah.
There's Wicker, but the only thing you're gonna find on there are drug dealers.
but the best form of communication is in-person communication. Woo!
Woohoo!
It is, but that's why they cracked down on by putting in social distancing and curfews, lockdowns, because that stops any person-to-person communication transfers and limits the amount of information that can be passed on between people. I love that little aspect of it.
Well, you heard about
as you and Steve Glory said before, that's not even taking in the mental health aspect of this.
Oh yeah, people are losing their shit.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah,
what
people
were you
are
saying,
really.
Tyler?
Oh no, I was gonna say that there are. I mean, you think even a PBX or an old Cisco phones or Seagull landlines, they're not secure at all. As we found out with Red Balloon software that got contracted by the NSA, is that they were able to upload software into the firmware into those even landline teleconference phones where they were broadcasting the receiver end on the AM band, and we're able to listen to the phone conversations in the next building over. And then
there is no such thing as a secure system.
Yeah.
As soon as it's connected to the net, it's got vulnerabilities. That's just the simple truth of it. All you can do is hope that you're not flagged, and if you are, start a new account somewhere on another device or whatever, right? And try and get lost in the background noise, because the amount of data that they're having to go through and record, they can't keep track of it all. And you can use that to your advantage. You can hide within the chaos, if you get what I'm saying. That's the best you can do and hope for. So it's not a bad idea to every I mean, ideally, every week or every month, fucking change all your fucking handles, start a new fucking email, and just flood the system with more emails, and you know what I mean, more contacts for them to have to start recording, because this, for them to record all of this data, they've got to have some serious hard drive space, and the amount of data that goes through and is recorded, the amount of conversations, emails, text messages, videos, you name it, chat groups, there's way too much data than what they can process physically. They just don't have the manpower to do it. So they rely on algorithms, but they're flawed in themselves and require, as I said before, somebody to be flagged before those algorithms can then be attached to start pulling out relevant information. So you can confuse the system by constantly fucking, changing your details and swapping devices and all of that shit. I mean, it'd be interesting if every week everybody swapped their device with somebody else and started a new account. They would be losing their shit, because all of a sudden the amount of data coming through would double. And it's already at peak capacity to the point where they don't have enough manpower to go through what they got, let alone the data doubling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a crazy idea, don't get me wrong, but fuck, would it cause chaos. Not for us, though. It's just simple adaptation, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, like you say, use it to your advantage. Like, if you are going to do something, then don't carry your phone or your PC with you. And, you got a
Indeed.
phone at the most. I mean, a lot better. Don't go in your car, because they're all tracked now, too. Or they will
How
be
is everybody?
shortly.
I came in here, but never asked everybody how are they, and said greetings. Kind of just joined the conversation. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to be rude.
That's kind of what we do.
Nice. I'm going to fit right in.
Yeah.
Though I got to say, don't listen to this Van dude. I think he's crazy.
So what's he spewing all over Twitter that's got everybody in a huff?
Who?
Dan. It's Dan Merritt.
No, I was trying to crack a joke about Van. Me. Sorry.
Oh.
I'm working on my sense of humor.
He said van with a D with a V.
Something was
Hey,
lost in
what's
the
going
accent
right
there.
I know, it's my fault. It's not you, it's me.
I always say the English can't speak English. I can't understand it.
Right, and these
Australian.
guys are even worse off. They're not even fucking English. They're
Yeah, I was just about to say, he's got a point there. The Australian accent is very different again.
yeah.
How do you get an Englishman to talk like that? I mean, you got to spin his head around.
Do you
so
ship
there's
them
no
to a
way.
prison colony and make them inbreed for a couple of generations?
Quite possible. Quite possible.
Now, when
Hey,
did that? When
you
did
can't
that
deny
actually
fact.
start?
I mean, that's how we got most of the South. Fucking, I don't know what you heard. Cadence wise, there's a lot of commonality between Georgia and Australia.
There's a lot of commonality between Canada and Australia. Believe it or not.
Well,
Like
yeah,
Since
you're
you-
Canada, like Canadian,
outlook.
Canadian or French Canadian?
Police state
Canadian.
Frenchie's out of it.
Rolled over for authority awful quick after giving up those guns, man. Got that in common, that's for sure.
Yeah. I got nothing. I mean, what can you say to that?
Well, here's to 3D printing and ghost guns.
Yeah,
I
the
gotta get
whole
a decent 3D printer.
the ghost gun thing, like honestly, like I don't like. The problem is that the with these anti-gun advocates are saying that they're actually just going after lawful gun owners, while they're saying there are too many guns in the street, but then they pick up the ghost. But all they're really getting off the street from the criminals are ghost guns, not like legit like gun owners. So, and they want, I don't know, it's starting to get
Just
weird.
to clarify,
Yeah, now they want. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, just to clarify, I don't want a 3D printer to print guns. I actually want it to print other stuff. It's just in case.
Yeah, I really don't. Like, honestly, like, I'm pretty sure that any idiot with some ingenuity, is able to produce these parts. It's just that, I've seen like accidents happen when people do stuff amateurly, and I don't really want to risk. Yeah, exactly. You're dealing with an explosion encased within metal.
There's a whole show on it called Jackass,
Yeah.
where amateurs doing stupid shit and injuring themselves. Like, it's
Did you hear about that guy? I follow a lot of guys on
can't
these
watch
guns
that.
channel. He literally was shooting a gun, and he thought that the last cartridge didn't discharge, so he shot again in a high powered 50 BMG, and he literally almost killed himself. The gun shattered and literally almost split him in half. He's lucky to be alive.
Yeah, I've seen guns barrels that have the barrel has actually blown
They
like
explode.
a flower, opened up like a flower, and it was just basically overuse to that barrel. The barrel should have been changed, but he never got around to it. And he won't make the same mistake twice. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's if you don't get shrapnel. Yeah, they do flower out, but sometimes they do shrapnel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He got every round out of that gun. You can't get used it. Oh,
Yeah, you don't. I don't. You don't see it too often, but you do with older guns. It is a lot more common. Sometimes you see with new shit guns. There's a lot of shitty products out there. I'm not gonna lie, especially when you start going budget gun.
Well, it's all about parting you with your cash, and whatever does it, is what makes me rich. So, yeah, selling you an inferior product, as long as it parts you with the cash, it doesn't matter what happens afterwards.
Exactly.
back in my poor days when I was in high school, I actually ran my cars with tires until they blew, so I could get every mile out of them because I was that poor. Kind of like a gun with a split barrel.
Yeah. But I don't know. And now they want now in I think Steve, up your way, they're now gun owners have to get liability insurance. Did you hear about that?
So we covered it. The city of San Jose is doing it. It's just city of San Jose. It's fucking ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
It is.
But overwhelmingly passed the city council will only impact. This is what's fucking crazy. So it's an opt-in thing.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't understand about this liability insurance. Okay, you're buying a killing device that kills people or whatever you want to kill, and you want to get liability insurance for a killing device. Well, why, if we're going to go that far, why don't we just put liability insurance on knives, bows and arrows, nunchucks? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, aside from that, the way the insurance
Power
works,
tools.
the way
Yeah.
the insurance works is if somebody steals your gun and they shoot someone with it, or they commit a crime with it, they get caught with your gun and you haven't reported it stolen, you're liable for everything that happened with that gun.
Well, that's bullshit, because I know people that have guns locked up in stores they haven't touched for years.
That's what I fucking said. I said, okay, look, what if you live in San Jose and you're fortunate enough to have a place in fucking Tahoe? Clear Lake or something like that, or you're out of town for a weekend or what the fuck ever, dude. Your house gets robbed, a bunch of crimes get committed, you're gone. You don't even know it's stolen until you get home. What the fuck, you know? Like, there's all kinds of shit. It's ridiculous, dude. And not only that, but the only people it impacts are the people who voluntarily sign up for it. If you're a legal gun owner in the city of San Jose, you do not have to do this.
The thing that I don't understand, like, the law is designed to punish the legal gun ownership as usual and not go after illegal gun ownership. Yet again, the law completely avoids what is going with what, you know, statistically more people are killed with illegal guns than registered gun owners. That's the fact, because criminals tend to use guns more often than law-abiding citizens, obviously. So you're only punishing the people that are following the law. Really?
Yeah.
Like, I don't, like this Brady bill, I understand that, you know, if you're crazy, like, and you sell a gun to somebody, I can understand that. That's, you know, that happens. You know, I understand about those, about doing background checks on people with guns, but, you know, like, and then they want, oh yeah, and then I heard the proposal about making guns safer. I'm like, guns have a safety on them. What do you want? Digital fingerprint recognition and put a whole bunch of tech? Like a gun is a pretty low budget. I mean, it's like technology wise, it's not a really advanced device, really. I mean, any idiot can take off the tech part and make it run manually, you know, without it, even if you put all those gizmos and shit on there. But guns have a safe mode, and you can take out the bullet, you can take out the cartridges, you know, I mean, they can be as safe as you want them to be. I don't understand how they can make them safer. I don't know.
But what
Like,
there are so okay, on that I have seen where they're going to try and make like smart guns more available, which is retarded, but they're gonna do it. They're gonna try and make smart guns mandatory for law enforcement, which is hilarious.
That sounds.
but
like
the thing about smart guns, smart guns, the problem with those, and I know this from working with, you know, lots of devices that don't have, you know, have to be charged all the time, is okay, let's say you're on a shift, you're on a 12-hour shift, and your lithium ion battery in that smart gun only lasts 5. So what are you gonna do? Some asshole at the end of your shift pulls a gun on you.
Throw it at him.
Exactly.
You pull your ghost gun.
Yeah, like putting batteries, like, you can't, like, it's a killing device. Like, I don't understand how much safer you want it to be. It's designed to kill. That's what it does. I don't know. Are there dangerous guns that shouldn't be out there? Oh hell yeah, there are. Yeah, there are. Tons.
Really?
Yeah, the old Tech 9s, those things were dangerous.
I mean,
Yeah, they were fucking hella dangerous. Those things,
Steve.
loosey goosey.
Steve.
dude, those things are
I like my
basically
Tech
those.
9.
Dude, those things are basically just pressed sheet metal machine guns. That's it.
Yeah.
It's got a spring in it, man.
Yeah. Oh, I've also some of those high powered closed bolt guns. Those things
the
are
only thing Tech 9.
those things are dangerous as fuck.
Order mass killing, dude. The only thing.
don't-
Do you need to spray and pray? Have a Tech 9. Look how easy the serial numbers file right off it.
Yeah, those things were
Yeah,
dangerous as
that
fuck.
thing was big back in LA in the gangs, man, back when they were doing all the
Yes, they
drive-bys.
were.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You look fucking cool as shit hanging out a car door with it tilted all sideways.
Right.
Till the barrel gets red hot after 5 rounds.
Steve, you sound fucking nostalgic.
He's like, yeah, I remember driving my Nissan Sentra, and I was in South Central. You're like, Steve, that didn't happen. That was a movie. It was called Boys in the Hood.
I know.
It's a good movie, that.
They sure as shit
Oh
did
my
that
God,
in
my
every
collection.
other
To this
fucking
day.
major city afterwards, though. That's for goddamn sure. The fallout for that is that you saw it all over fucking every fucking town in the Midwest. You saw it all over the fucking South. Like it had a very predictable outcome.
Well, it's gonna jam and blow up on you.
No, it's yours. Sorry, I do fucking. There's like a mini Death Wish fucking unsweetened coffee drink in there too. Yeah.
What's up, baby?
Sleepy says hi.
Yeah.
Sleepy!
I would pair her back up in a minute.
Okay.
Sleepy J!
Sleepy's fucking around with servers.
Uh,
So you got a Tech 9 you have for sale, Tyler?
oh god, I haven't had a gun in a long time. Not since I was. No, I don't. At this point, I'm just
Anonymous Bites Back does not condone the illegal sales of arms of any kind.
No, I for like good reasons. I don't own weapons at this point. I just don't. Let's just say that I just don't. There are things in my life or reasons I don't at this point. So I mean, yeah, I like guns. I think they're cool, but just not. I just don't want to be a gun owner at this point.
I mean,
Not
that's
only
fair.
that where I
No,
live,
no,
where I
no,
live, the
no,
laws are so
no,
fucking
no,
ridiculous.
Yeah, dude. It's
You can't shoot a gun if somebody breaks into your house in my city, right? If they aren't holding a weapon or they aren't attacking me and somebody breaks into my house and I shoot them and they die, I am responsible for homicide.
Bro, I guarantee fucking to you, somebody breaks into my house and I shoot them. By the time the police show up, there's a weapon in their hand and I was in fear for my life.
Yeah.
And I saw
You're
the whole
not thinking
thing.
about this, right, Tyler?
Well,
You have not thought this through all the way, my friend.
I don't know. I'm just saying that, like, you know, that kind of shit. Like, I've heard about stories like that in the news. You know, where a guy was defending his house and then goes to jail for like homicide.
Oh, yeah, that's somebody who didn't think it through.
Well, it's you don't exactly plan on somebody breaking into your house. You know, it's like, hey.
Look, man, life is complicated, and you don't always get a plan for shit. But what you can do is make the best out of a bad situation. When life gives you corpses, Tyler,
Yeah.
you make corpsinade or something like that.
Corpsinade?
Really, Steve?
Buy some high fructose corn syrup and shit.
Well, the way food prices are going up, we might have to get coarse food. Shit. Everything's getting more
It's a
expensive.
dangerous city, man. You live in a dangerous city, Tyler. I mean, come on.
Yeah, everything got way more expensive. This is getting ridiculous. I always wanted to talk about that on this thing. Like I always hear these like analysts saying the price wars will go away. Like, what secret information do you have that it's not ending? There is no end in sight. Things will only get more expensive. In the history of prices, things have rarely gone the other direction. Just saying.
Well, we live in a debt-loaded government like this. I mean, you're going to have inflation all the time. That's what we do.
Well, you think that's bad? You think that's bad? The way it's affected the automotive industry, they didn't only jack up the prices of gas-powered vehicles. It's also going towards the electric ones too. They're jacking up the price like 10,000, like on the base price is like 10,000 more than it should be because there's a shortage of chips. And then I'm hearing from all these like, car salesmen. I listened to this car salesman show like on like Sunday, and he's saying that he's not even sure when the chip shortage will be with those things because he says they won't finish the chip plant in like Ohio. They won't finish building that until summer. You get the production, so we're not talking till like next year. Yeah. That directly affects the automotive industry. Have you been to a car dealership recently? You know, like most of the cars in there are all used. There was almost no cars produced last year.
No, well, no, I
None?
got a
Almost.
mom and pop auction I go to down here, man, and they got some good prices that go there.
Yeah, that's generally the only place you're gonna find a deal.
It's true, man. Yeah, you go to these other ones like a car dealer or even secondary dealers, man, they're jacking them up.
Yep, yeah, that's what happened to me. They jacked it up 10 grand. But I needed a car that day. So.
Find you a good mom and pop auction.
Yeah, I've had a horror
They
story.
were fucking dealer auction.
I had a horror story with one of those mom and pop places. Like I bought a lemon and I got like a Honda Civic Coupe. It was like 17 or 18, and then like the week later the transmission blew out and it didn't even have that many miles on it. And I was like, what the fuck?
You got it cheap.
Actually, no. I paid like 7 grand for it. That was the thing.
Oh well.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah. It was.
I got 3 vehicles down here for $4,000. I didn't need 3 vehicles. Don't get me wrong. I got scared away. I mean, it's doable if you get to the right place.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you still need a gun. That way you can put your gun in your brand new vehicle that you got from the mom and pop auction.
Yeah.
If you get your ghost gun off the street, ain't nobody know you even have a vehicle or a gun.
Yeah, I remember when the Liberator came out? Those things were so fucking dangerous. They blew up after like the 5th time. 5th shot, they fucking blew up. You remember those things were horrible.
I think they've gotten a little better, but hey, even 5 shots, I mean, that's...
Oh yeah, but the only reason I think the
Throw away gun, that's pretty
Ghost Guns got good is because of that guy. I think the police killed him. The
Was it,
Jonas or something. Yeah, FS.9, the FSP9, which is a AR style 9mm fully automatic rifle. That's honestly, it's very well detailed and thought out. And the guy was raided by the police, recently within the last 6 months, and was running from the police, and then he mysteriously has a heart attack. Like, I don't know, like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Was he vaccinated?
I don't know, because his comps, he didn't even have social media. Like, the only time you ever heard anything from this guy, he was so like underground that the only time you would ever hear anything from him would just be from like these
I've
forums.
never heard social media giving you a heart attack though.
No, he didn't get a heart attack. It was during the when he was running from the police. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
They'll give you a heart attack, and then they'll shoot you.
Well, this is the thing. I'm surprised that they didn't. I mean, aren't they? Was he white?
Yes, he was
See, that's why he didn't get
he
shot.
was also he was living like in the Netherlands, I think. And
If he was pigmentally challenged, he would have got shot.
no, but he was not from there. He was a Syrian, I believe, a Syrian, or he was a refugee from some random country too. Yeah.
They shoot them as well.
He was not Syrian.
Look, unless you're white,
Oh no,
blonde,
no,
and
he wasn't
blue-eyed.
Syrian. He was Kurdish. He's Kurdish. He was Kurdish. That's right. He was Kurdish. That's right. So
Unless you're white, blonde, and blue-eyed,
yeah.
you get shot.
Yeah. Well, I don't know his skin color actually, really, because I think all his interviews he has head to toe covered. I assumed he was.
Well, I mean, let's be frank here. The only color that really truly matters is green, all right? Because that's the color of money.
Yeah, that's true. Or Soylent Green.
Well, we are expendable. We are an expendable workforce. We're chewed up by the system, not necessarily fed to one another. Well, actually, we are fed to one another, theoretically speaking, and then we feed on each other to try and survive. I mean, they create this awesome little like biocosmos, where we're being screwed by the system, and then some of us are screwing each other, and those ones that aren't are just trying to keep the head afloat. And it's
You see, you take a dump, and then they take that water and all the sludge and spray it on the field for the food you eat.
well, yeah, you gotta make the fields grow somehow. Unless you thin the herd out, then you save money as well.
Yeah.
Especially getting rid of all of those unproductive people, like the old people and the disabled, and those with mental illness and stuff like that. Any pre-existing conditions, because they're unproductive. Like, you can thin those out. I mean, they may even get a vaccine for that.
Against it or for it?
Oh, to help thin the herd out of that, unproductive lot. I mean, who needs their grandparents, really? They just sit around and, create white stuff on the corner of their mouths.
Can I get a vaccine for the vaccine? What would that be called?
I don't know, but look, I am expecting, because there are a lot of car accidents that are killing people, and I am expecting a vaccine for that soon.
I've seen that too, and I've seen more distracted driving during the pandemic than I did before. Like, every day.
That doesn't surprise me.
It's
I've seen people walk in.
I see people. I see straight up
confused, like as if they're not sure where they've just woken up.
Yeah, it's like worse than they're driving drunk because they're like texting and shit and they're swerving all over the fucking place. Or they stop in the middle of the intersections for like no reason. Or I've seen a guy drive into I saw a guy drive into a church once. Yeah. One of my buddies is a security guard, and this guy in a truck ran over an old man while he was texting because he didn't see him.
That was probably put down as a COVID death.
He actually was alive, believe it or not. He was actually alive. He just had a crushed hip, though. He had to go to the ICU. He's alive, though. He's in a lot of pain.
Yeah, no. A crushed hip would do that.
Did you guys hear about that? The $4.5 billion crypto crime, guys? You didn't hear about that?
Like the Feds?
No, but I heard about the Assange DAO.
Yeah, the Assange DAO. I guess
from WikiLeaks.
Yeah, I guess that checks out because at first I thought it was a scam, the DAO, but apparently it's like legit. But it's like $4.5 billion crypto crime is like related to crime theft. Where like they had received like 2,300 or something Bitcoin as a result of some crime, which was only worth like $32 million at the time. But now because of the price when they had gotten it has raised dramatically, the theft was actually valued at roughly three to $4.5 billion, depending on where you would have cashed out at. And these people were living like billionaires for a long time, and it finally caught up to them. And I don't think they're ever going to get out of prison. How do you get like? It's like, damn, dude, $4.5 billion. Damn. You can't hide. You couldn't hide that if you wanted to. I mean, I could imagine if you had stolen like, a couple thousand, but you start stealing that amount, people are going to be looking for you. Do you guys remember when that exchange went down and the guy stole like $100 million from an exchange, and then they gave him a job and he gave it back? Oh yeah. Yeah, he had stolen it and was writing notes in the Ethereum, or was it Ethereum? Yeah, he was writing notes on the transactions about like, haha, you'll never catch me, you fucks. And it was hilarious. It was going on for days, and then they kept on tweeting. He's like, It was like publicly because they didn't want to go through the police. Be like, look, if you give us the money, now we won't go to the police. But I think the incentive is they gave him like $12 million in a job, so it kind of worked out for him.
But if you didn't have a skill, it'd be what, 20 years for you?
About.
If they didn't need you
Yeah, I guess it depends. Like, and then the 20 years on top of the repayment, you'll never repay that amount of money. Ethereum's already to the point where you can't even do anything on it anymore. So that's one of those blockchains that are just I don't know how you can fix it when the transactions are costing $100 a piece. What's the gas fee now? Current gas fee is $97 just to move your money. What the fuck? Yeah, $97 down from 100. Last year was at $233. Oh, good. Did you guys hear about the Starbucks union? They're trying to unionize, and then like one of the Starbucks had fired all the employees for trying to unionize.
Yeah, I heard Starbucks is doing it. There's one here in town that's supposedly trying that.
Man, I don't.
How long it lasts?
I mean, are Starbucks employees like paid that horribly?
I know they rely on tips a lot, from what I heard.
Yeah.
An indoor job. I mean, they don't realize how close they are to getting replaced by robots. You push them a little harder, and it's gonna be the Starbucks robot.
Oh yeah, those kind of technologies are already out. Yeah, the food making bots. Yeah, those actually do exist. The problem with them is they require a lot of maintenance, and they do require 24-hour supervision while they're doing things. Is when the devices, unfortunately, when they drop or mess things up, they can't fix it.
So why not just get a person to make the food then?
Oh, if you only have to pay one employee versus 7,
and pay for that one employee once, a one-off payment, where you never have to worry about them getting sick. You don't have to worry about them not coming into work. You don't have to keep paying their wage. You don't have to pay any superannuation, no insurance. And you've got that employee for the rest of your life, because that employee will outlive you. I can't understand why they would think it's such a good idea.
I've said the same thing about Amazon. Amazon should just stop hiring people. Really, they should. It's just I don't see that. Amazon should just replace all their workers with robots, because what they do to those people it's inhumane. Like when they have the TOT,
they treat them like robots.
Yeah. You know what TOT is? You know what TOT is, right?
Weird grocery stores, like the fresh stores, the Amazon fresh stores, or I don't know if it's the fresh stores specifically, but they have those weird grocery stores where you don't even need a person there to like check you out, and you don't even do the self checkout. Like you remove the item, and then it activates some sensor that immediately goes to your Amazon account, and it's weird.
Yeah, you know Amazon has a TOT, right? There's a time on task and time off task. If you're 5 minutes off task, then you're not performing well. If you're 5 minutes on task, you're doing good. And they're constantly having the employees have these unrealistic goals. They constantly still have to pee in bottles just to make the ends meet, and they're only making about $15 an hour. You say that's great, but with the inflation costs, I've heard this from multiple people who work at Amazon. They're living out of their fucking vehicles and working at Amazon because they can't make enough money to put rent for rent or anything like that. So they just they're basically just homeless. It would just if having cheap labor is what they want, get rid of people, and stop promising a shiny career at the end, because
They're
there's not going to
trying.
be any.
They're
There's
trying
not.
to get rid of people
Just
every
do
way
it.
possible.
Yeah, but they should just do it and not
They're not only replacing them in the workplace, right? But they're sacking the ones that won't take the jab, and then they've got the jab to get rid of a whole bunch as well. Like, fucking, they're getting rid of people, all right. Haven't you noticed? How many friends have you lost? Well,
I don't have any friends.
I don't play well with others.
No, personally, I don't know. I've seen a lot.
I get-
members get fucked up over it, but nobody died.
I got sent to the principal's office for being a disruptive influence.
Good for you.
I've been in trouble. I was in trouble all the time in school, so I can't name
Let me
like.
guess. Destructive influence?
No,
Is written on all your reports from primary school onwards?
bringing a weapon to school. What else? There's a whole bunch of shit.
That's some pretty tough school.
Yeah. It wasn't even a weapon. I was just gonna handcuff a kid to his like locker, and then I ended up getting beat up, and they found the fucking handcuffs. That kid deserved it. He deserved it. He was just running his mouth, But him and his homies like just beat the shit out of me before I got the chance to get him. So I was gonna handcuff him to like a flagpole and just leave him there. I don't know.
They're
There was
always tough when it's when they outnumber you.
Yeah. It didn't go off well as planned. No. And I was the one who got in trouble, right?
Yeah, well, you can't just go around getting beaten up, dude.
The guy deserved it, though. I actually saw that guy in the Olympics once. Like the guy that was gonna handcuff. Yeah, he was in the Olympics. And I was like, serious. Like I saw him like, many, many years later. I was like, holy shit, I went to high school with that guy. That guy's an asshole.
Douchebag. A
Douchebag.
douche canoe.
Yeah. God, who else was I in high school with? I saw, one of the guys was in the NFL, 49ers. That guy could throw, dude. That guy could throw a football. Shit. God, what else is going on in the world that is upside down? Everything?
Hard to find a good
Well, right
spot.
now, what's
what isn't
taking...
upside down? We have someone on this panel who's from down under, so
Yeah, but don't hold that against me. Like, I try to be a nice person anyway. I was going to say, at the moment, the one thing that's taking my focus is, oddly, this thing called Corona. I don't know if you heard of it. And then there's this Ukraine and Russia thing. That's kind of got my focus at the moment. It seems to be the kind of the
I ran
loudest
into
thing.
a group of crisis actors in Santa Monica
Yeah.
this weekend.
I don't, honestly, the whole Russia thing, I don't think anything's going to happen out of it. I think it's just a dick waving contest at this point.
Like, it's so funny how much consent they're trying to manufacture with Ukraine. It's like, listen, the regions of Donetsk and Donbass, they just want autonomy. And the Ukrainian government is just selling the shit out of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, honestly.
Yeah, there were literally like crisis actors in Santa Monica this weekend, like with Ukrainian flags that were holding signs that were like,
Oh, I saw them.
USA.
Yep, I saw those guys. I saw them. Yeah, they were on Santa Monica and Veteran. I saw that.
Yeah, Santa
Yeah.
Monica, right by the pier arch thing.
I kind of didn't know what was going on. I saw them waving Ukrainian flags, and I was like, okay. It said Kakdela, and they didn't even say anything back, so. I'm like, okay. Maybe they don't
Yeah,
speak.
they were just there to like make videos.
There wasn't
They
that
were
many
like,
people
"Thank
there,
you,
really.
US.
There
Yeah,
was
no,
like
it was like 10 people and
About-
it's like 7 camera people, and they just kept talking about like thanking the US and and shitting on Russia, and like there were even some. I think I counted like 2 or so out of the 10 Ukrainian flags. Like there was an additional 2 American flags or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, there wasn't even that many people. I saw more with the when the Infowars people came onto the anti-maskers at the same spot on Veteran. That was a lot of people. Holy shit! I think it's because Infowars was there.
Well, yeah. I mean, the anti-mandate crowds in Los Angeles, they vary depending on what big names show up.
QAnons are. So do you think Donnie is ever gonna go to prison? I heard was
No.
That's what I think too. Like, I don't think that guy's ever gonna go to prison.
George W. Bush is walking around. Richard Pearl is walking around. James Liu is running, or James Yee, sorry, is running around. Like, all of these people, Kissinger, Tony Blair, like
Yeah.
actual fucking, like, real demons
George Bush
are
Jr.
walking around. Les Wexner roams fucking free. You talk about a fucking puppet politician. Come on.
Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton.
Yeah, dude, and they're just fucking the people that we get to see.
Yep, 100% there.
You know, I mean, yeah.
Imagine how dirty the ones are that we don't see.
Right?
Because they've chosen what they thought.
Fucking dirt on have been pretty goddamn dirty.
Well, this is what I mean. Out of their group, they've chosen the ones that were the most respectable.
Out of their group, they chose the ones that were most malleable. Willing to fucking just do and not ask questions or have too many of their own ideas.
You can have your own ideas as long as they're the right ideas.
That's what I'm saying. They're not allowed, really.
Gotta push vaccines, man. You'd be one of them. Gotta push propaganda. That's where this show's missing out, man. If we could push propaganda and get paid for it, maybe we could do something. Where we went wrong.
What is going on? I hear a lot of banging.
But banging on the toilet 2 floors down.
Oh, good. I'm not sure what else to talk about, guys. I'm out of stuff on my subject list.
Well, you didn't do number 2. We got to do about the BLM where they're hiding their money, stealing money.
Yeah, so it turns out that one of the founding members, what was her name? God, where did I put her name? Something Khan. That's how much I don't know about the whole organization. I don't know all the players. It was Patricia Colors Khan. Yeah, money scandal. Yeah, so apparently she basically during that what was it during the when they were asking for donations, apparently Patrice had amounted to 60 million and was buying houses and moved to Canada and all sorts of stuff. And I don't think what I was reading, I don't think that her money scandal is only tied to BLM. So it's not just like one organization. That's why I put her name specifically. Because there are other orgs that she had stolen from too. You know. But I've said this a long time, activism really doesn't require money, like I was saying, like you don't need a hell of a lot unless you're doing like sit-ins and stuff. There really is no need for like the money aspect. I mean, I've done protests like no money, nothing really. So the second you start asking for money and donations, I'm not sure exactly what kind of activism or because like the second money starts getting mixed in, just for me, it's not about activism anymore. It's all about greed and money. Yeah.
You have to have a little capitalism mixed with your activism.
Well, I mean, a little bit. I mean, like for like posters and stuff, but you don't need millions of dollars.
You don't need 400 companies endorsing you,
No, you don't.
promising you billions of dollars.
No, I mean, it will. I mean, the only time you would really need to be like for money is if you're doing like long, Standing Rock. Those are the kind of situations where you're gonna need money. You know, there's just no way around it.
Bail people out.
Yeah, there was no way that Standing Rock would have lasted as long as it did if it wasn't for donations, and it did work out eventually for them. Eventually. Not initially, but there was a lot of bad things going on.
Not like a bandit. There was so much shit up there, dude. I mean, they stuffed the whole gym full of stuff, full of boxes they couldn't even open fast enough.
Yeah, there was a lot of
Ridiculous.
lot of people there.
They were shipping them brand new snow machines down there. Like, whoa, dude. I mean, who's got that kind of money?
Yeah, and spraying the water cannons at the people when it was the Arctic tundra season going on. That was inhumane, really. DARPA Black Hawk. What? Oh, fully autonomous AI helicopter.
That seems like a natural jump. I mean, we got enough computer power to do that nowadays. I'm surprised they haven't done that already.
Yeah. Wars will not be fought by people anymore. It'll be fought by drones. My drones versus your drones.
Yeah, and then they're using I think the Turks did this with that last war with the Armenians. Or these drone swarms. They're actually bringing that out into the war field now.
Loitering munitions.
Oh.
Google it. Loitering munitions.
Oh, here we go. Here's a headline for you. Here we go. Put that in the chat. Flat earthers go on a cruise to prove that the earth is flat, only to be surprised that the earth was a sphere.
Well, they're going to prove it.
How are they circumnavigating?
I don't. Pictures come.
Well, they're not.
It's important.
So you can use a flat
It's
map.
important. How are they circumnavigating, Tyler? Are they circumnavigating west to east or east to west? Are they circumnavigating north to south? Because nobody's ever actually done that.
No, I don't think so. And there might be a good reason for that. Because you can only go during the summer
One
year.
direction in the Arctic Basin. I
Yeah.
agree. In our flat realm. Yes, you're absolutely
No,
right.
not that. I'm talking about the Arctic. The Arctic. No, the Arctic River. The Arctic River. When the summer comes, then they get up with icebergs at the North Pole. There are only certain times of the year that you can do that, and you might end up with problems at the south end, at the South Pole. That might be like when nobody's actually done
you
it.
actually can't. You cannot.
Yeah. You might run into problems unless I was gonna say unless you got like one of those ships that are designed to cut through ice. I don't think you're gonna make it all the way.
Well, we'll just make it thick as hell on one of these cruises. That's for sure. I mean, you can get more people sitting on a cruise and giving them all these jabs.
Recent climate
So
change
hosted
has
by the
caused
Flat
those
Earth
areas to
Society,
thaw out.
because then you're going on CIA Carnival cruise lines.
Yeah.
Because the Flat Earth Society is
The Flat Earth Society has members all around the globe.
the stage managed operation is what I'm trying to say.
Are there any hot chicks in the Flat Earth Society? Or are they just flat chested?
I don't know. They're spooks, Alamo. That's what I don't know.
Oh man, so if I want to meet some spooks,
You could always go to DEF CON.
Yeah, you can go to DEF CON and I don't know.
Meet all the spooks you want.
Yeah.
Where is this interview?
What?
I'm looking for something. Well, I dropped the thing in the chat about the autonomous Black Hawk. I don't know if you want to talk about that or not, or bring it up.
Oh yeah. Sure, go ahead.
have you flown one? Are you
No.
rated?
No, haven't flown. I don't think I've ever been in a helicopter. No, I don't think I
I
have.
have when it's on the ground.
No, not even.
So, any advancement in AI war capability should be assumed to eventually trickle down from foreign lands into the U.S. Defense One is reporting that AI-infused Black Hawk helicopters have made an advancement to the extent to where they can autonomously carry out a directive set by a commanding officer. Also raises the question of how many can be commanded by one human. Saw a demo of a drone swarm consisting of 130 separate drones being managed by one single human operator using VR. Going beyond previous unmanned helicopters that featured advanced autopilot or the beginning of autonomy, a new DARPA experiment showed off a pilotless Black Hawk rigged to carry out an entire mission based on a commander's goals. Officials said the demonstration would help the Army and other services better figure out how they want to incorporate heavy self-driving drones into future battle plans. 10-minute test flight, 30-minute helicopter flight, which is enough for a Black Hawk to go significant distance. Half an hour in the air.
Yeah.
Now all we got to do is mount one of them lasers on it. Like they mounted a laser on one of them too, not too long ago.
Wampa 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 Havana syndrome. Wampa 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 wampa. The Havana syndrome shit cracks me up. It is. Oh, you fucker.
It's not a syndrome. It's a fucking directional microwave device. That's what it is. It's not a mystery.
The CIA has been beaming laser beams into the heads of people all over the world.
Well, I mean, you could be a good measurable distance or in the next room with and just turn one on and fry somebody's brain.
I mean, Lockheed Martin does have like literal laser advertisements out there.
Yeah.
Oh, have you heard about the plasma lightning cannon they got now? Yeah, so like the army found a way to inject plasma into their laser beam streams, and then create an electrical charge and blast a bolt of lightning through the plasma laser beam, and basically it is directional lightning that's used as a weapon. I don't know. I thought it'd be kind of cool to see that thing in a war. How did you defeat the enemy? With lightning.
No, I like to keep the lightning powers to my anime,
Deities,
please.
or deities, not the United States
Yeah.
Army.
I'd like to keep it to fictional stories, please.
No, it is a reality. They're able to use lightning as a weapon. Sorry, I'm getting a little sleepy.
How close do you got to be to hit him with his lightning bolts, like a stun gun?
No, we're talking. I don't even know. They're using like, I see the thing in action. It looks like a real lightning bolt. Honestly, I don't know if you're using anything like that kind of power. Some industrial Tesla coils, I'm guessing on the other end. Industrial size, like probably the size of a truck. Just to charge something like that would take a while too. You couldn't charge those things, like it'd probably take like at least 10 to 15 minutes to charge those things.
I like the rail guns better. I mean,
Those railgun. Yeah, they've been developing the railgun since the mid '90s. They just started implementing them onto the newer ships. But yeah, they can reach velocities faster than any bullet will ever go.
Further range as well.
Yeah.
One of the rumors was 300 nautical miles.
I mean, it's possible, but I mean, if you shot it at the right angle, but with drag and everything, I don't know. Because like a normal gun can go a normal gun can go a few miles, if you shoot at the right angle. I wouldn't say they'd be effective, but the bullet will go that far. So do you guys think that last week's Facebook thing, you think that'll be the demise?
Yeah, what, you mean them losing fucking $287 billion in a day?
Yeah.
So, okay, here's the thing. When we talked about it on the morning show, we were looking at just how over leveraged they were in Oculus, how over leveraged they were in selling a metaverse that they don't have the fucking back end development done for. Don't know. There's that side to it. There's the other side to it where Facebook has been looking to Africa, South America, and trying to worm their way back into India for the future of their market share, and they're more or less ready to abandon the West unless they can get the VR thing going.
Yeah.
But so far, it's not there.
Yeah,
I
VR,
mean, especially
VR.
Africa with the kind of emerging youth population. That's in a sadistic sense, that's kind of like a prime source of capital for these people.
Yeah, the whole VR thing will never. It's always going to be this weird niche of the internet where there will be people that will be into it, but it's never. And God, VR has been around for a long time, guys, and it never really goes anywhere because it's people think it's the next evolution of technology. It really is not. It is a product of from a previous time, But I don't ever really see it as like an everyday thing for everybody. It's just it's been around for almost 30 years. I don't know why Facebook thinks that they can tackle this because you got a lot of weird obstacles. I mean, you got people need to drop the cash in the gear, and then you got to keep people on the platform. Therefore, you got to make more games and stuff. But like, there comes a point where like, I don't know. Just for me, I just can't ever be sold on it. Really, I'd rather just get my controller, play my video game, and be on my way. I don't want to put on a whole bunch of gear. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, no, I don't either. But I'm also not a gamer.
Yeah, me neither.
So,
I mean, I am at times, but like my friend who's a gamer, who's like a diehard gamer, and like he did the whole like VR stuff with PlayStation, and then he said it got old like really quickly. He says like, yeah, it was like fun for like 5 minutes, but he's like after that, it's like I'd rather just go play my Call of Duty. Really.
yeah.
VR you can only use for short periods of time because it starts giving you a headache. I don't know if you've used VR for long periods of time. I have. And yeah, it messes with you. It's not healthy.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the natural progression of things because you're trying to simulate the user inside of the video game. And I understand some people think that might be the next natural progression, but it's really, I don't think it is. I could be wrong,
Messes
but
with your vision.
yeah, that
Messes with your
too.
vision as well, because
Yeah.
your eyes are constantly trying to sort of view into the distance, but it's right there in front of you.
Yeah, that too. And then the augmented reality isn't exactly even any better, really. So I don't know. I'm not sold on it. I even heard. Have you heard about the pressure suits that Facebook's been working on? Do you remember early on in AI how they were trying to manufacture those suits, those body suits that were made out of like Gore-Tex that would try and simulate the feeling that you were in the video game?
Like
The-
hits and impacts.
But hits and impacts, yeah. Facebook's been working on it, and I guess they got thermal gloves going on where you can feel hot and cold. And I said, okay, but at the same time, I got to buy this gear to go with my Oculus headset. Or is it going to run me another $700? I don't want to have to drop almost $2,000 in gear just to play a game. I'm sorry. It's just deters.
I mean, it's kind of a twisted idea, but what if we use this pleasure suit and we put in some special electronics with a crotch package, and
I
then
think-
merge that with like porn videos.
Japanese have already perfected that a long time. Yeah, a while ago, like 10 years ago.
I'm behind them.
Have you heard about those masturbation machines they got in China for reproductive health?
It's for my health now. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not joking.
Is it in the shape of a hand?
No, it's not. It's actually very dynamic.
Like
It's
a
like
high-tech fleshlight or what?
no, yeah, it's like a high-tech fleshlight simulated vagina. Yeah.
And some kind of sexy AI voice.
No, I think it looks.
something you can 3D print.
No. I'll have to wait a few more years.
Yeah. What the hell? What? Apparently, Lulsec's Twitter handle has been posting again. Oh, that's news to me. When did they go? When did they go back active? Damn. All right.
Well, that's not suspicious at all.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because they haven't fucking done any. I don't think that account has been active since like fucking almost a decade.
Well, it sounds like Twitter is like a big hangout here for anonymous people.
Yeah. Well,
Facebook
we'll,
never is.
we'll see. We'll see if it's really them. I don't know how many lol sects have popped up over the years since the original. Anyway. Watch Hector. Hector is behind it.
Fuck to Hector.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You have FBI informant. Yeah. What else is there to talk about, guys?
I don't know, but I'm either falling asleep or making coffee and doing show prep for tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting tired too.
Are all of those things that apply to you, Steve?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'll end it. End the show.
All right.
Yeah.
I did PSA.
Yeah.
Larry Jones.
Make sure. Sorry.
Got it.
Yeah, no, I remember it. Make sure to spam neuter all your politicians and lobbyists and military contractors. There's two more. And bankers and royalty. Anybody else we're missing?
No.
DK always goes after lobbyists.
Yeah.
I think, did I say lobbyists?
Yeah. I guess.
Okay.
All right. And we'll roll out.
Hereby declare this to be an
Oh, wait, no,
unlawful
that's right.
assembly.